the action. When last we left the party, we had just rolled for initiative as they are confronted with these demonic creatures. And so now we're going to toss the battle band up, and we're going to get ready to dive right into the adventure. So I have everyone's initiative. And I believe, if you want to pull it up for us, it is a tie between the flying creature with spines and Thorn. I'm going to give this one to Thorn. So Thorn, if you want to take our first action for us, you can see that there is the large flying creature that is in front of you. There's a number of tables set up between you and it, and as well as crates. So you don't have the direct line of sight on it. The two large gibbering mouths that were behind you, you have clear line of sight to.
Do I attack or do I do the thing? Because correct me if I'm wrong, if I use an action that's not to attack, I cannot then bonus action attack, right? Even though I have 2 open fighting?
That is correct. You only get the bonus action to attack if you're making the attack action with your main action.
I dislike that. I can get to here with my movement, right? Right up next to the flying one?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. You can get there just fine.
Okay, I'm just gonna stab it. And this one. And stab it. Ooh, that's good. That's 18.
18 does hit.
And I'm gonna smite, because I can.
Of course.
So d6 and 3d8. Ew. 15, 6, 19 damage.
19 damage total. And how much of that was radiant?
15 of it.
15, okay.
I rolled real shit on my sword and real good on the smite.
All right. So you strike down with your sword, and as you do, it sparks with this cold blue holy energy that's like this almost cleansing blue light as it cuts across it. And you can see that it leaves behind, like scarred across its skin, this pattern of ice across it, like little tiny bits and pieces of frost. And it lets out a small as it peels back, and its 2 wings come flapping down, setting off a bunch of dust that sort of flies into your face. And take a moment to like brush it out. I assume you want to use your bonus action to attack based on your previous statement.
Yes, I would like to stab it again. Less good. Only a 12.
Only a 12?
Yeah.
12 does not hit.
Ew.
So all the loose bits of dust and dirt that it's kicking up, as it kind of gets into your eyes, you have to try to blink it away. They prevent you from striking successfully. And your second is a whiff.
That's all I got.
All right. So that's going to take us to its turn. And you are toe-to-toe with the creature. It is going to slice out with a fork that's in its hand, so basically like a pitchfork. It's going to stab out at you. It's its first attack. Let's see, that is going to be... That's going to be a 13. Remember, you're without your armor because the entire party was wearing their party clothes.
13 is my AC now.
13 is your AC, so it's going to hit. You're going to take 6 points of slashing damage. Oh, sorry. Nope. I lied. You're going to take 4 points of piercing damage because it's the fork.
I like that better.
I thought you might. And it is going to slam its wings down, and as it does, it lifts up out of the air, and it's going to fly away from you.
Attack of opportunity?
Like it does. You do not get an attack of opportunity.
Suspicious, but okay.
It's an experienced flyer. And then Valen, as it flies by you, it is going to reach down with its giant maw and try to snap onto your arm.
Absolutely not.
That is a 12 to hit.
That's my AC now.
Yep. That is only 3 points of piercing damage as its teeth sort of clamp into the meat of your arm, but they just managed to go shy of getting into the thick of it. So you feel a little bit pull away, but it doesn't deal a significant amount of damage. And it's gonna flutter over here because it does not like paladins. Oh no, actually, sorry, here. All right, so that is its turn.
Sorry, just to interrupt for a second. I realized I didn't have my initiative in the order originally, so I was at the bottom, so I put mine in. So you might have to just refresh it.
Let me reset you. There you go. Doesn't change anything currently, but does set things up a little bit differently. All right, so it's its turn. Thorn has gone. Calvin, it's your turn. Of course. Let me find you a little critter. Okay.
Wawa, really?
Get you some pork roll and some Wawa.
I was not prepared for your red panda. That is my mistake. Give me 1 second.
So what does this red panda friend do? Okay.
All right, so there you go. Wawa has entered the battlefield. I gave it to everybody, yeah. So everyone will have control now. Just to simplify the management side of things.
In this instance, yes. Yeah, immunity being frightened.
All right, I'll just. I will drop a little power up so that you remember that you have a little boost, and that is Calvin. So Valen, you're up.
So I grab my shoulder and I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I look at all three of them and I need them all to make charisma saves of 13 as I cast Bane.
Okay. Charisma saving throws coming up. That would be a fail on all three of them.
Nice.
They have all been baned. So I'm going to mark that so I don't just forget.
That's what they get. How dare they?
They just wanted to be invited to the party. All right. Would you like to move or anything like that, or are you done?
Yes, I will actually like put myself back, kind of more behind stuff.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next person. Oh, it's going to be one of their turns. Let's see. So this one, I think he's going to scuttle up and see that Twiddlemop looks like a delicious little treat, little snack, and he's going to try to slam down with a bite attack. There's a 12 to hit.
Twiddlemop's gonna cast Shield.
Okay. So yeah, you cast Shield, and as a flaring shield of arcane energy interspaces between you and the creature, you see its teeth slam into the see-through shield, and you can kind of see it doing that like as it's trying to close its mouth over the shield, and you see its mouth just sliding down, and a big fat tongue slaps against the thing and leaving like a big smear of like discolored slobber. But he does not hit.
This is gonna make me rest.
And the second one is going to take a bite at pork roll.
Not pork roll.
Yes. It's gonna be a 3, so pork roll will be just fine. Oh, I'm sorry. Flip goes in the middle there. Mess that up. Didn't see you there, Flip. Flip, it's your turn before it attacks pork roll.
Okay.
Starting out great tonight.
The same turn. Okay, question. Does Wawa count as an enemy, though? Like, for our enemies?
So does Wawa count as, like, a target that they could attack? Yes. Wawa is your ally. It is on your side. It is against them.
Okay.
He's not an impartial third party.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see if this does something or not then. Yeah, so for the first time, Flip is gonna draw one of his Taroka cards. And as he does so, you see his normally all dark eyes kind of go over with like a cloudy white, and you hear him say, "The spirits tell the tale of Akuma, the first of the Almare, most clever of us all." And you see a little ghostly otter, kind of big and buff, come out of the Troika card and kind of swim through the air over to Thorn. And Thorn, for the next minute, you benefit from my Beast Spirit Tail. You have advantage on wisdom checks and advantage on attack rolls against a creature if another enemy is within 5 feet of it. So basically, you get pack tactics.
Okay.
It looks like a regular otter, but it looks like kind of a buff, like, himbo version of an otter. Different than the ghostly otter that swam over to your shoulder and freaked you out. There's all sorts of ghostly otters.
It's like if otters had otters.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I'm imagining now is just a little otter using like dumbbell weights to lift.
All I know is I've got like 2 separate spectral animals hanging out around me, and I don't know how to feel about this. Okay. I mean, I'll take the buffs, thank y'all.
You just have a little menagerie going now.
And once Flip does that and kind of returns to normal, I'm gonna just walk over, like... where am I? I'm gonna go over by Valen. Yeah, we're gonna...
And Bandit, it's advantage if an enemy is within the enemy I'm attacking, or if an ally is within 5 feet of the enemy I'm attacking.
So the wording is against a creature if another enemy is within 5 feet of it. So that's why I was asking if Wawa counts as an enemy to our targets.
Yes, Wawa does have the ability to attack as a familiar. They're not terribly strong attacks, but they're still valid.
But so he'll give me advantage on.
Wawa would classify it as being able to give you advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so that is Flip. Do you want to use the movement for or anything like that, or any of your other actions?
Just use my movement to move behind Valen, and I think that's all I'm going to do for now. So that's my turn.
Okay. Then we're gonna move over to the next Maw's turn, which I had already rolled for, so we're gonna keep the roll that I had gotten. So he does miss. And it will be Twiddlemop's turn now, with one of those giant Maws still sort of slamming against your invisible shield, trying to figure out a way to get around. You see that it's got two little arms that are sticking around the side, like now trying to like figure out where the edge of the shield is.
Twid is going to, not actually using a doll, reach out just like through the shield at this point and go, "Ah, stay away from me!" and just grab onto it and shocking grasp.
Okay. So roll to attack with your shocking grasp.
$10.
Ooh, yeah, unfortunately with the 10, you do not hit. You go to slam out at it, and it just gets knocked shy. One of its flailing arms hits your arm, and knocks the spell shy.
Well, I guess
Alright.
that happens sometimes.
So that was your main action. Do you want to do anything with your bonus or your move?
Yeah, Twid is gonna try and run away from it anyway.
Okay, so you can actually make your run for it.
Okay, I'm moving.
You got lucky. It got an 8 on its attack of opportunity. So its mouth slams shut, just shy of you. It just misses your butterfly wings.
Not the wings.
Yes, you almost got de-winged.
But the wings make the outfit.
So does the princess hat.
All right. So that moves us to Thorn. You're up.
Time to end his whole career. Gonna move to there and try to stab him. Come on, twins. Give me a crit. 15?
15 hits.
Ugh, good. I'm gonna smite, because why not? I did. 15 was the best I had. The other one was a 1. I rolled real good this time. So that is 8 points of stabbing. And then...
Okay.
Hold on. Math. 21 points of radiant damage.
You aren't joking about rolling good. So you charge up after the creature as it's landed now, and it's just sort of like mantling its wings like it's getting ready to take off again. As you do, the little red panda on your arm, because it can fly, jumps up and starts waving its arms like in its face to try to get its attention, and you just slam down with your sword. As it hits across its body, it arcs with that same cold blue light, sending this shock of spiritual frost across its body. As that happens, you see it for a second seems to be still holding together. The crack in its center just slowly peels open, and you see it just fall to the ground. As it hits it, and poofs into like a smoky, like brimstone smelling dust. And it is gone.
Thorn's still like finishing the swing, just looks at the dust cloud, and you know what's Thorn gonna do? Actually, no, Thorn's just gonna turn around and go to the other one and goes, "Who's next?" And I'm gonna use my bonus action and harness divine power and get a spell slot back.
All right, so you're using your harness divine power to burn your channel divinity.
Does it channel? Oh, I do have to channel extend my channel divinity to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I was
Okay.
gonna use it
So
to
just
bring
so
Big Boy down,
everyone-
but he's dead.
Just in case anyone's not familiar with this ability, it was presented in Tasha's Cauldron. There's a whole list of extra abilities that every class sort of got to benefit from. I let everybody who's playing in the campaign make use of these abilities. We're testing them to see if we enjoy how they basically flesh out and give you some more options as characters. In particular, things like a paladin's ability to change the way they use their channel divinity, and you'll see more as we continue on in the stream. It was going to be its turn, but now its turn is gone. It is dead. So that's going to bring us to Calvin. Calvin, Pork Roll, and Wawa. A deadly trio. I know that about you.
We still.
Excellent. So you deal 9 points of damage to it. First one to bloody it as you come in and strike out with your weapon. You hear a slight crack as you hit one of the eyeballs that's on the side of its mouth, and you see the eyeball sort of gets puffed up and starts to ooze a little bit of weird goop, and its long tongue slaps out and licks the goop up, and before pulling back into the mouth. Now, what would you like to do with Wawa?
I do not care for these enemies.
Wawa takes the dodge action. Sorry, everybody. Our puppy's deciding to be a little worked up tonight. He also wants to take part in the party. He's the take part in the fight. He is the last of the Fiends.
Barnaby would like to rage.
Yeah, he is on every initiative count. He is their lair action. All right, that was Calvin. So we're going to move on to Valen. Valen, what would you like to do?
I am going to. I think I'm going to cast Toll the Dead on the one that Pork Roll is on. Was attacking.
All right, so I'm sorry. How you're going to go after that one?
Yeah. I'm going to cast Toll the Dead. So it needs to make a Wisdom save of 13.
Wisdom save? Absolutely. Let me roll that one up. They're not terribly wise, so it fails.
Oh, darn. It's going to take 5 necrotic damage.
All right, 5 necrotic damage. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, that's it.
That is going to bring us to the first of the Maw Demon's turns. It is going to, thinking for its turn, Thorn looks nearby and delicious. It's going to step up to Thorn and it's going to slam down with a bite attack. It's a 12 to hit.
12 misses.
Okay, so you just managed to slide out of the way as its jaws slam shut, and you do miss the attack. So that'll bring us to Flip. What would you like to do?
Okay, well, it doesn't seem like I'm gonna be bitten anytime soon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a vicious mockery at the one closer to me next to Thorn. So that, I believe, That's going to be a wisdom save for the one next to Thorn and Wawa.
Okay. Wisdom save it is. Not very good. That's a 10. I assume that's going to be better than your DC. It's not going to be better than your DC.
That is correct. So it's going to be 3 points of psychic damage as Flip just like whispers, like, you're just gross and disgusting. And then these ghostly voices kind of echo it around the enemy.
It seems like it feels a little bit sorry about, like, a little. You see one of its eyes sort of wiggle around to look at itself, and it does. It seems like it's a little ashamed.
Should be ashamed.
And we're going to move over to the other Maw Demon. Seeing that Calvin is actually made of flesh and bone, Calvin definitely seems like the better meal. So it's going to take a bite at Calvin. And it's baned, correct? So it gets minus D4?
Yes.
Yeah, it gets a -2 with the disadvantage and the bane. So, like, it goes to bite out at you, and Porkroll puts its hand in the way, and as it does, one of its eyes just slams into Porkroll's hand, and it bounces back, and you can see it sort of shake itself, trying to figure out which way it is, and, like, does a little spin around before it reorients on Calvin. If it was a cartoon, you feel like there'd be little birds kind of doing, like, the around its head. Twiddlemop, you're up.
Twit is gonna pull out Lucretia, look at this one, the northern one, and go, "You almost ruined my outfit!" And then fire off an Eldritch Blast.
Ooh, okay, so roll to hit.
Twit is just so distraught tonight that they did a 7.
7 does not hit. So your Eldritch Blast goes wide, kind of firing off into the distance.
Oh no, Twid.
Would you like to do anything with your move or your bonus action?
Yeah, Twit is actually gonna move up next to Flip. Look up at Flip and say, "I'm really sorry. I'm not doing great right now." Oh, and Flip's not right there. Oh well.
All right. So that's Twiddlemop. So Thorin, you're up.
Well, since this one kindly moved up to me, and so it saved me a move action, I'm gonna stab it for its trouble.
Okay, so roll to hit.
Come on, twins. Natural 20.
Okay, so that is a crit.
And
so
I'm
roll for
going
your
to
damage.
Because
Okay.
why wouldn't I? Okay, here we go. So that's 4 plus, so 7 points of stabbing damage.
Hmm.
And then 16 doubled is 32 points of radiant damage.
As you do.
You're
So
right, you
you reel back with your sword and you slam down in it. As you do, that same burst of blue, like purging blue light, flashes out, and ice scatters across its body. And for a split second, it completely freezes, encased in celestial ice, and then it and shatters into a million little pieces, just sort of suddenly disappearing onto the wind. And when you look down, there's nothing left, except for a few little snowflakes sort of slowly settling to the ground.
Can I add some flavor?
Absolutely.
So Thorn twirls the sword in their hand, and rather than like take a slash, jams it down, like top down into its head. And as they do, Thorn's gonna say, "Go back to hell and tell them who sent you. I want them to know it was me."
And then you say the name of your worst enemy.
And then, where's the other one? There it is. I don't think I can get to it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I can get to there.
Just glare at it ominously.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got. I don't have a bonus action that I can use right now.
Okay. So at that point, we're going to move on to Calvin and his 3 turns. As you do. Oh, with the nat 20, that means you get to crit. Get them all out now. Because I've got more plans for later. 19 points of damage? Okay. All right. So Calvin, you slam down on it, and your hit is so good. You actually see one of its small little stubby arms goes flying off into one of the carts, letting out like this sizzling, slightly like greenish black blood. And it the creature seems to just like deflate a little bit inside of itself, and its tongue flops out, but it manages to just stay on its feet. Valen, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna follow it up with another Toll the Dead since it did so bad the first time. So Wisdom save of 13.
13. All right. Let's see if it can do any better. Probably not. Nope. That's a nat 1.
Sweet. Well, in that case, it is going to take 7 necrotic damage.
7 necrotic damage? Okay. So you toll the dead, and the spectral bell sort of boom rings out, and you can see the creature freeze. And then the skin goes ashen gray, and it flops to the ground and just sort of and folds in on itself until it disappears. And all of the creatures that were on the map are dead. And we are now out of initiative.
I think I killed that one. I think we're good now.
It's very tight.
Yeah, we'll
whatever
do.
you did.
Thorn just brushes a little bit of demon dust off of their shoulder.
Should we go right after
18.
Marge?
Are there any more? Do we see any more?
I will say if you want to give me a perception check if you're looking around to see if you see signs of any other fiends.
Which Thorn still has advantage on.
16.
Ooh, okay. So with the 16 and the 20, as you the fervor of battle settles on all of you, and you take a moment to sort of like catch your breath as all of you have been kind of locked in this quick strike. You look around and realize that you can still hear the distant sounds of crashing. And in particular, you notice that further down the street and sort of around one of the corners, you can see in the distance what looks to be a fire. And sort of the like flicker of fire and that red that's sort of painting some of the sky. And it seems like something is on fire in the distance. And in particular, I will say that with the 20, you can see that several more of those flying fiends that Thorn had slain are sort of sweeping down on the crowds in the distance. Okay. Porkle's gonna give you a little like bow to accept your command, and I assume the party would like to continue.
Let's do it. Lead the way, Calvin.
All right. So the options before you right now is the path that you're on will continue to go straight and sort of take you through the market. You can see that there's that fire to the left. Twid's cart is dead set ahead, and then you have heard some more of the screaming and the crashing and those spine demons to the right. So it depends on where you would like to go. And I know Twid mentioned their cart.
Is there anything coming from the direction of the cart?
I mean, the same sounds of crashing and screaming that they're all kind of coming from your vicinity in general.
What was the last known location of Large Marge?
Marge was heading towards where, I'm going to say that in the heat of battle, none of you were really looking for where Marge went. You're not sure.
Twid is sprinting towards their cart.
That
Is
seems
the rest
fair.
of the party going to follow?
I'm not letting Twid go alone. That was weird.
All right.
I'll
Yeah,
kind of
now-
glance between Twid and everyone else, and unless anyone else is going somewhere else, then yeah, I'll follow Twid.
All right.
I'm assuming heroism.
I assumed
and
after at least
pack tactics
2
were
members of the
off.
party ran after Twid. But
Lead the way, Twid, I guess.
and also, Bandit, the question was, how long do pack tactics remain?
Sorry, missed that. For 1 minute.
1 minute? Okay. Excellent. So, yes. Essentially, like, after you've taken a moment to collect yourself, look around, sort of get your bearings again, I will say that the 1 minute would have expired. I will give you as a follow-up, Calvin, as you were looking around, with the 20 specifically, you see that one of the carts that's tipped over and damaged, one of the displays that was crashed into, is indeed an armor maker's. I assume you would like to take a moment to like investigate to see what's there.
Yes, very much.
Yes, please.
Give me a quick investigation check.
And you can have guidance on that investigation check if you would like it. So that's an extra D4 on your roll for Calvin.
But I'll go ahead and add it to 28.
Well, 28 investigation doesn't take you very long to realize that there are 4 sets of studded leather armor. There are 2 sets of chainmail. Or I'm sorry, yes, chainmail, not chain shirt. Let me double check. I want to make sure I'm going to give you the right time if I give it to you.
So
I'm sorry, no, it is chain shirt, so it's medium armor. With chain shirt, it is let's see. Yeah, so there's 2 chain shirts. And they would take you a minute or 2 to get into.
I would not say no to that. That would be a great boon.
If this was pointed out to Twid before they ran off towards the cart, they probably would put on the studded leather themselves.
Yeah, I think we're doing it. So Calvin and I are taking the chain shirts and then studded leather all around.
So the studded leather, for anyone who wants to wear it that's not taking the chain shirts, that's a 12 plus your dex modifier. For the chain shirt, that is going to be a 13 plus your dex modifier. And those weigh 20 pounds. So just as you're aware.
So it's like my breastplate, but not my breastplate.
Essentially, yeah.
It's
So it's
exactly
13 plus dex. Yeah. Oh, and then dex modifier has a maximum of 2.
Oh, never mind then. So it's 1 worse.
It is clunkier than your breastplate, so it is going to reduce your overall armor class because you're not able to take advantage of all of your dexterity.
Gotcha. 15's better than nothing.
I thought you might appreciate it. Thankfully, luckily for you, Calvin got a very high initial perception check and a very high investigation check. Because Calvin had to kind of like dig through all the damage, all the wreckage to be like, well, here's a suit of armor, and here's the bracers that you need, and here's a chain shirt, and here's the connector. So you kind of salvaged from a couple of different pairs of armor to find enough to get the party outfitted.
Flip is definitely going to put on the studded leather armor, keeping on the leather pants, but sighing and very disappointed that I have to take off my party top. No, it's ruined the whole look. The whole point of this.
Yeah, once you've ruined.
Once
you ruin the silhouette, though.
Yeah, it just doesn't look right. This top is meant to show off my top. No.
Twid is gonna.
Rethinking that one.
Once Twid gets on the studded leather, they're going to pull a new doll out of their bag. This one looks like a little, like, tiny owlmare with dark hair and, like, the big dark owlmare eyes. And Twit is going to go, "Let's go, Andre, let's save our friends!" And Twit is talking about the other dolls, but, and then cast Armor of Agathis with Andre.
So holding up Andre and casting the spell, you see a hazy mist sort of settle over Twit's form, and then with a snap, you see these icy sparks and armors, basically, or icy spikes, settle over the heavy metal of Twit's body, and ending, basically making a breastplate of ice across his metal form, or their metal form.
Can I make a perception check to see how much that doll looks like Flip?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well.
Investigation check.
It doesn't matter. It was in
As
that
you're
20.
trying to do that. Nat 20. You take a look at it, and I mean, it's a doll, so it's not super detailed, but you're like, well, the color matches. The face that it's made is not like Flip's.
Also,
There's
it's
definitely
not,
some.
it's not detailed. A doll that Twid made.
Yeah. There's not a ton of
Yeah.
detail there that you know. There's nothing about it that screams like a completely different Owlmare. Like the hair color and stuff like that is also dark.
Thorn is unnerved.
I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
No. No.
All right. So, seeing everyone now able set into armor and sort of seeing that there's still chaos in the distance, the party's gonna truck on and keep running. Taking the lead is Twid, who's frantically running towards their cart, with Andre still clutched sort of under one arm and now covered in the icy spectral armor of Agathis. As you careen down the street, you see that there's a lot of damage sort of in the various carts. It seems as though those two people who were here, like showing off their wares and participating in the party, have started to evacuate. You can see that a number of the actual physical businesses outside of the carts are all slammed closed. Shutters are pulled closed. You get the feeling like whoever could make it to cover did so as soon as possible, and essentially try to lock themselves in. Here and there, you do see signs of other demons that had probably been other fiends that had probably been destroyed. As you can see that same bitter smell of you smell that same bitter smell of brimstone, and you can see little piles of like red crystalline dirt here and there. And after a moment, you also do see, unfortunately, one of the guards that is wearing the livery of Large Marge appears to be dead in one of the carts. Or you just actually see their body unmoving, laying inside one of the carts that seem to be smashed open. What would you like to do?
Thorn's gonna run over and look for a pulse.
Okay, so actually give me a medicine check to see if you can just detect if this guard is still alive.
7.
7. You try to feel around and you can't find a pulse.
I think he's dead.
As you are sort of like reaching into the cart, you can see that part of the cart is snapped and is sort of pressing down on the sternum, pinning them in place. They have thick, dark black hair that is basically like let to fall over their shoulders, over their Il Robasso family armor that has the same crest along the front. They have the almond-shaped eyes of a Hoshin, one of the basically the Asian analog in my world. And he looks fairly young. You would probably guess to be like early 20s. And you can see that just sort of one arm sort of spread out, reaching, and you can see out of its grip is a sword.
Flip's just gonna walk up and do the like classic 2-finger eye close.
Well, his eyes were already closed.
Oh, well, next
Flip
time.
opens them and then
Yeah.
closes them again.
Yes. Oh god, that's so much worse.
I will say,
Let's keep going.
And we call Twit creepy.
Twid
I will
is
say,
creepy.
Valen, as you're getting closer, do you want to give me a medicine check really quick?
Yes. It was almost a 13, and then I got a nat 1, so I got a 6.
No, same thing. You're pretty sure the poor guy's gone.
I'm like, yeah, no, I think he's dead, and I'll say like a quick prayer to Velasta kind of over him.
Okay. Yeah. So as you mutter a quick prayer to Velasta over the body, you then hear in the distance again another one of the like, just like a crash and the sound of a whole bunch of like wood snapping and breaking, followed by a roar that's, if you're familiar with it, was the roar of the same creature that Thorn destroyed.
We should keep moving.
My
Further down the street.
cart!
It's time to turn our attention to those who are still living. Take
Someone's
off
gonna keep moving.
towards the sounds.
So you continue to book it down the street, and like I said, what you see is it looks like here people had a little more time to get out of the way. You can see that it seems like some people tried to take the time to like scoop up the things that were in their carts before they made or be in their like this blankets they had set out in their various displays that they had created. Some people had tables along the sides of the streets. They seem to have taken some more time to try to like recover their product before making a break for it. As you take a sharp turn around one of the streets, you find yourself back on the main thoroughfare where you had seen Twit's cart previously, and you can see that oddly enough, going straight further down that street, you can see the fire in the distance. So everything is backlit by a fire that's probably another 2 blocks down from you, and it looks to have consumed several buildings at this point, and it's just blazing, and you can see cinders in the air, and everything's cast in this deep red glow, and set against it perfectly is Twid's cart right in the middle of this crossroad. And you can see a figure sort of hunched over the top of the cart in shadow, hunched over shoulders, long grizzled arms holding 2 small humanoid bodies in hand, and a set of up-curled, like large horns, and a long muzzle. And you can see it in the flickering of the fire, sort of lighting it from behind. It's sort of dancing the 2 humanoids in its hands towards each other.
Are the humanoids dolls or people?
Yeah, so as you slide to a stop at the end of the street and you look up, you're fairly certain that the creature that you're seeing on there is about the size of a human, and you think it's dolls in its hands. And I will say, as you're turning to look, you hear the sound of thud, thud, the slam of flesh against flesh, as though the sound of someone basically delivering a number of heavy blows with fists. And you can see kind of scuttling out from the side streets, a number of strange hunched over creatures, almost gorilla-like in their build, but instead of having fur, they have this sickly green skin, these pointed out little ears, almost like elven ears on the side of their heads, but these gross busted maws full of like shattered looking teeth, and they sort of knuckle out on all fours, but it looks as though they could easily kind of switch between standing on all fours and standing at whatever they 2 legs, whatever they would like. Sort of comes scuttling out as you see the creature that's playing with one of the dolls looks at one and then hurls it to the ground before reaching down and pulling another one out of the cart, and continues to like make them play.
This is somehow worse than anything I imagined.
So the creature is very suddenly in its head. Wait, how close do I have to be?
So is the creature like a person with horns? Is it like a demon? Is it like an animal? Like, what is it?
You're having trouble getting a good look at it because it's being completely backlit by this huge fire. So all you're seeing is like this shadowy figure with the horns, and you can see 2 little human, like the little doll arms flailing in the shadow. Like basically, it's almost like a weird like shadow puppet show from your perspective.
Yeah,
Whereas the creatures that came around, scuttling around the cart, you can see better because they are sort of backed up by the cart, so they're not as weirdly lit. And like I said, you can hear the sounds of what sounds to be fighting and like swearing coming from one of the side streets.
I am
have-
so nervous.
I have so many feelings about all of this, and I understand none of them.
Twit is just straight up raising up Lucretia, saying, "Get away from my dolls!" And then is going to fire an Eldritch Blast at the one in the center, playing with the dolls.
Okay.
fighting.
Roll to hit with your Eldritch Blast.
Twit is just so distraught tonight that they rolled a 8.
So your blast
Wow.
fires out from your doll, and as it does, it flies right by its head, and you can see the head snap to the side to look at it. And then it picks up one of the dolls and like also makes the doll follow the beam of light, and then turns back to you. As it does, it sort of scuttles to the edge of the cart, and you can see the whole cart kind of gives a little shake under the weight of its body as it sort of walks to the edge. And you can hear the clop, 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 clop sound, and you realize as it gets closer that its body is covered in this thick brown fur that seems all matted and gross. Like you can see little bits of what look to be like food, and then like you're pretty sure is blood in its fur. And you can see it's clutching both of the dolls in like these grimy hands with these long black nails. And from the lower part of its body is goat legs. And then the long muzzle that you saw is actually the face of a goat with the little tiny like grizzly beard at the end, 2 big upturned ears, and then those big horns on its head. And you see it like look at you, and it gives a little like, and then in your mind, all of you feel a voice sort of slip into your consciousness. You must be that one's employees. Marge ruined my master's fun, and now he's come to do the same. Would you like to play? And he throws one of the dolls into the air, and as it comes flying back down, goes and snaps its jaws shut on one of the dolls. And you can hear the crunch of the wooden doll, and you can see one arm sort of flop around the side before it falls loose. I'm enjoying myself with your toys, but they don't seem very durable.
At this point, Twit is just screaming, "I'm going to kill you!"
I
I'm
feel
gonna move
scared for this goat.
to the battle map. So you should be seeing that if you want to switch us over to a combat mode.
I'm gonna say this once again. I don't like this.
I now have decided I do not care for these
And for your view for the combat map, you're going to want to move down and to the right a little bit.
Fuck.
That's a lot of things to kill too.
Yeah, it's a lot of thing.
Yeah, you want to move yourself down a little bit more. And then move the map over to the right. The whole party is basically as far as you can go on the map.
Yeah.
No, you can definitely go further right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you should definitely be able to go further right.
I can
Are you
see
using
our
a little
tokens.
grabby? Yeah, other people can see the tokens, but like the stream can't.
Yeah, I can see the tokens too. The problem is they're on the right side of the map, and that's where.
All right. So
Do we just want to flip ourselves all to the left? Retcon, we came from the left.
you're making me flip things around, but okay. Sorry, everybody. We're having some technical difficulties again.
If you just on the Roll20 map add like some distance on the right, would that help?
Okay, let me add some distance on the right. I think now would be the perfect time for us to go on our break.
That sounds like a good plan.
And we'll roll initiative and everything on the break. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us while we have some technical difficulties and dealt with our puppy being a little upset for tonight's stream. He is a little hyperactive. He wanted to be the center of attention. He felt that there were demons and fiends taking place, and he was not participating. So we're going to drop on our quick break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. We're going to take care of initiatives. When we come back, we'll be going right into combat. We want to, again, take our usual time to thank our awesome artist, Cat Atomic Art, who created our logo and the art we use for all of our characters. And also plug the fact that if you'd like to learn more about Obra and the world, you can find us on Twitter, which is in our about linked in our about section. And we'd love a follow here if you're enjoying the stream, as it helps us just figure out like what should we be doing differently. Also, if everyone would like to, while they're on the or on the break, if I would like everyone to give a vote for which member of the party they would like to give inspiration to at the start of this fight. Thank you, everybody, and we'll be back in just a
And it
minute.
should be Thorn for killing 2 of those demons solo.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody, and welcome back from the break. Just as a quick recap for anyone who might be joining us or stepping back in now that we're getting back in the flow of things, the party is currently working through the absolute chaos that has been caused by demonic party crashers at Large Marge's big event. The block party that she had been hosting, full of extravagant displays, merchants, and vendors, is in disarray as the creatures have smashed through carts and stalls, leaving behind a wreckage everywhere and causing people to flee into the city streets beyond. In particular, the party finally came upon Twid's Pride and Joy, Twid's Doll Emporium, a cart that was once the crowning jewel of their mercantile empire, now playing host to a dark, demonic creature in the form of a goat man who seems to be enjoying destroying Twid's toys, in particular eating one just in front of Twid's eyes, causing Twid to fly into a rage. Below it, a number of strange creatures slink along the ground, and the party can see that several civilians seem to be trapped and caught in the crossfires. And in particular, they hear the distant cries of Twid's friend Carlisle as we jump right into combat. So we're gonna jump right in. And in particular, having heard that cry, they hear the sound of the meaty thwack of fists slamming against flesh as one of the creatures, the Dretch, comes flying flying into their line of sight. As it takes impact from, let's see, how much damage? Okay, that much damage. And they see Carlisle appear. Carlisle, we met previously in the last episode, is a human man from Rion blood. Close shorn head with a large scar across one side and a bust across his lip and a nose that obviously looks like it's been broken in a few bar fights before. Brawny, large-handed man who normally serves as Twid's protector and makes sure that the cart is safe. He comes barreling after the stretch that comes basically flying head over heels from a hard strike. As it starts to try to push itself up from where it's on the ground, Carlisle connects with another savage blow, slamming into the side of its head. You can see the side of its head kind of cracks and caves in a little bit, and like this huge fly of spittle just crashes out. And he turns over to look at Twid, and says, "Things ain't going so great if you want to participate."
We just got here.
Yeah, well, all hands on deck. Valen, you're up.
Oh my god, there's so much. Okay. I feel for Twid because I know that this is Twid's like pride and joy. So I'm going to cast a guiding bolt at the goat man.
As the goat man's still up there, slowly chewing, with little bits of doll sort of falling out of the sides of its mouth.
That would be a 16.
Guiding
hit.
bolt. 16 hits with your guiding bolt.
Okay, not bad. 15 radiant damage.
15 radiant damage?
Yes.
All right. So first blood is on the table. And it is now outlined in the faint haze of Velasta's energy. Almost as though it's the corona of energy around it. Looks like the setting sun. So there's that little bit of orange and pink sort of outlining its form. Meaning whoever attacks next gets advantage.
And I like to think that I like aimed at its head because I wanted to try to like knock the doll out of its mouth.
I mean, it's fair. It probably does like spit out a couple pieces of doll when it takes the damage. All right. So that's Valen, and you're allowed to do anything else with your turn, with your move or your bonus.
I'm gonna move up over here.
All right. And let's see. As you do so, you hear another voice call out in a loud, booming sound of the arcane language, and you see one of the creatures comes sort of. You see basically a large column of like this deep, thick green ichor comes spraying out from the hallway and splatters against one of the creatures. And I will say that with the abilities that they have, they're gonna hit. And it's going to hit the two creatures that are just in front of Carlisle. Let me roll some damage. Because you didn't know, they know that they're taking damage, you don't know how much it is. And you hear a voice that you recognize, Ruby, the woman you met previously who was helping to tend the cart. Carlisle, don't get in my line of sight. I need to be able to see all of them if I'm going to be able to do anything.
Good to know.
But you don't actually see her. She is, you just hear her voice sort of echoing from the side street below you. Calvin, you're up. Oh, yes, sorry. 10 does not hit. And there's your Wawa.
Bob's gonna go and hang out.
Okay.
Need all three of them that are like southwest. Make dexterity saving.
So this one, this one, this one.
Yeah, 30 foot line, 5 foot line should go.
Okay, yeah, that should be no problem if you lined it up. Yeah, that'll do it. So they all need to make what's that kind of throw?
Dexterity saving.
All right, let me give you 3 dexterity saving throws real quick. And these have a dex bonus of not good. That's a 16, a 13, and an 8. Okay. That so it was 16, 13, 8 going away from you.
So the 8 will take 2d4 acid damage every turn twice that.
Okay. I will take this moment to remind everybody that you haven't been making any checks to identify any of these creatures. That is something that you're all capable of doing.
Is that a
This is
free
my
action?
audible that I will call out. It'll be a free action on your turn.
Got it.
As it might be relevant. And so that was your whole turn, Calvin? Okay, perfect. And I'm just going to drop a little reminder. So that's going to take that damage at the beginning of its turn.
Start its turn takes the damage. It can use an action to win.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so we're going to move over to the creature. So the creature standing on top of the cart drops the other doll, like kind of like, ugh, gross, and forgets about it. It gets forgotten about it and looks out at the rest of the party. I'm going to say that it gives a springing leap and jumps off the edge of the cart and comes crashing down just next to Calvin. It slams into the cobblestones next to you, and as it does so, you can see that its face is just covered with these like warts and pustules, and like there's this bit of like gross slime sort of dripping from the sides of its eyes, and a small drove of flies is like settled around its shoulders, and it smells terrible. As soon as it gets inside in range of you, you kind of feel yourself go like you're trying to hold down your gag reflex. And it's gonna lash out, and as it does, you see this sharp barbed tail comes slashing out at you and tries to cut down at you. It is going to swing for with disadvantage. Okay, well then that helps you out a lot. So that gives it a 9. All right, so Pork Roll at the last minute slices out and manages to catch the tail and push it out of the way. As it does, you see this like gross, slimy liquid come flying off and kind of spatter across the cobblestones behind you, and you can see little flies start to buzz around all the leftover liquid, but it does miss, and it sort of like looks at you with this like an annoyed expression on its face, a little head tilt, and it's like, I don't like your friend. And it's going to be another one of these critters' turns. And this one you can see it sort of getting itself back up from the blow it took from Carlisle. It reaches up with one big meaty fist and goes to slam at Carlisle.
Is that the acid one?
That is the acid one. So roll your 2d4 for me while I roll its attack. Okay. 4 points of acid damage. Ooh, so it goes to reach out with its fist and go to slam into Carlisle with basically to try to damage him. You see Carlisle snaps up his hands and basically pushes it out of the way and deflects the blow. As it does, the creature stumbles towards him and goes for a giant bite against his shoulder. and that hits. So you see Carla pushes pushes his strike out of the way, but the creature's jaw slammed down on the shoulder, and you can see that it starts to like a small spurt of blood comes out as he takes damage. All right. So that's going to bring us now to Thorn.
We can't hear you, Joey.
Yeah.
It would help if I press push to talk. What kind of roll would it be to identify them?
This is going to be a religion check or a history check. DCs are slightly different, so let me know which one you're making.
They're both equally bad. Thorn would do a history. 9.
9. You, looking at them, you feel fairly confident that there's something demonic and fiendish about their very energy. It would fit the other creatures you met previously, especially knowing how much damage you do with your smite. Beyond that, you're not sure in particular about these creatures, like what they might be. You have spent a lot of your life far more worried about the worldly threats that are posed to the Ashahai and far less worried about sort of the supernatural threats that many other paladins are worried about.
Yes, this is not my area of expertise, so I am just going to stab.
All right. Where are you moving to and who you stabbing?
I'm going to move to there, and I'm going to stab the goat man. This one.
Stabbing.
Advantage.
What is your expertise?
What?
You have advantage, right? Because I don't think anyone struck him since I did.
Also, at the start of your turn, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
What now? Why who?
15?
15. As you start your turn, you are kind of like trying to size the creature up and get a focus on where you've seen it before. As you do that, fetid, wet smell hits you, and it's the smell of wet, rotting meat and fur, and you feel your stomach kind of like it feels terrible, and it almost burns as it goes into your as you breathe it in. Like it feels like it's hurting the inside of your esophagus, but you sort of like muscle through it, so you don't you feel fine.
Is this disease or poison?
This is this is not either of those two.
Just checking because I'm immune to disease.
Yes, that's relevant to know, but not in this particular instance.
I did not roll good on my first one. 15?
15 hits.
I'm not gonna smite. I'm gonna save it. Ew.
Okay.
5.
5 damage. And this is with just your normal
Just with my
sword.
Ice Blade. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Advantage means I hit. But yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna stab him again. 14?
14 does not hit. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, 14 does hit.
Better than nothing. For what is my? Hold on. 6.
So your blades flash out, and both you see cut small wounds on its body, on its torso, and you can see little bits of like blackish blood sort of start to pour out. And what's kind of gross to you is as the blood's pouring down, you see little flies climb out of the blood and start to flutter around its body.
No.
Enjoying the cloud of flies sort of around it. To smell even worse this close up. And so the advantage is gone now from Valen's previous spell. And it is Flip, your turn's up.
Okay. So first, for free action, Flip got a 19 on a history check on the goat man.
Okay.
Specifically. I guess I'll wait to see if I get anything from that.
I'm sorry, so 19 against the goat man?
Yes. History,
19 will hit.
history check.
Oh,
Sorry,
history. I'm
history check.
terribly sorry.
No,
I keep saying it was not your attack. History check, yes.
Yes.
So with a 19 history check, you turn your mind back to all the stories you've heard of your people, in particular with your passion as a storyteller, sort of collecting everything you can hear. And what you as you do, you remember tales of terrible illness and dark sickness that sort of spread across the Shadowcar Islands at one point. And you know that the heroes of that story originally discovered that it was a dark and evil demon known as a Bulazao who had spread that illness. The Bulazal are a strange combination of goat and man, both sides of it containing the illness and sicknesses that ravaged both man and beast. You would know that it is capable of speaking to the minds of others and imparting with its abilities disease. You know that its very presence sickens those who are near it. As a wave of necrotic energy follows it wherever it goes, causing animals to die and humans to grow ill. And its barbed tail carries a festering poison that causes those who are impacted by it to cough up flies and shed rotting skin as they attempt to resist the disease. And you know, the Bulazao are essentially heralds of illness and disease bred in the darkest pits of the hells.
They real nasty.
Yes. I will say on the more practical side, you would know that they share the very common demon resistances of cold, fire, and lightning. And because of the fetid conditions that they thrive in, they are immune to poison. So cold, fire, and lightning will do half damage. Poison they have complete immunity against. And I will say, if there's anything else you'd like to know about them, you can have one other question besides that piece of information.
Is there anything that they are weak to?
They don't have any particular special weaknesses beyond just anything that doesn't hit their immunities or resistances.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. If I can, I'll try to succinctly as possible share that with the party. And then Flip is going to reach into his Chiroka deck again and bonus action roll on my spirit tail table. So he kind of take a half second to like think, and his eyes kind of flash ghostly white again. And like, oh yeah. I'm gonna look at Twiddlemop and once again draw a Chiroka card and start saying, "The spirits tell the tale of," and then just gonna kind of like rage roar. And Twiddlemop has the Avenger tail. So anytime a creature within 30 feet of you is damaged, you can use your reaction to deal force damage to the attacker for a d6.
Oh, and I'm sorry. At the end of your turn, Flip, I also need you to make the Constitution saving throw.
Okay. I'm just gonna scoot over to the side a little bit, and then I'll make that con save.
Mm-hmm.
But does
That would have happened at the
that's...
beginning of your turn,
it was 20, dirty 20.
All right, so you same thing. You're hit with that gross, wet meat smell, but you manage to shake it off.
Good. Yeah, and that's my turn.
So as you pass your turn, several of the creatures that have been sort of clustered around it stand up on their legs, and I will say that you know with your check that you made, I'll give you some information on these as well. These are dretches. The Dretch are sort of very low-level, weak demons. They are essentially they're doomed to spend eternity in a state of perpetual discontent. They are usually given like foot soldier, like they're cannon fodder in demonic fights. And you would know that same thing. They share the immunities to the resistances to cold, fire, and lightning, and immunity to poison. And they themselves are able to emit a poisonous gas if they so choose.
They're just all poisonous. Just stay away from all of them. They're gross. They're nasty.
So the first of the dretches is going to slam down with its claw at a pork roll. And so we're going to get one claw, which is a 8, and then we're going to get a bite to follow it up, which is a 9. So I assume neither of those hit pork roll. Excellent. So you're going to move to the next stretch, and this one is going to rush forward, giving a little like weird shriek of like excitement as it lunges towards Thorn full body, and I'm going to do a bite and a claw attack against you. Natural 20 on the bite.
That will hit.
And an 8 on the claw. So
The
I assume that
claws.
does not give you any trouble. Mm-hmm. So the bite is going to be... You just take 4 points of piercing damage as its jaw sinks into the meat of your shoulder, and you have to take a moment to like push it back off of you as you stumble back a step from the force of it jumping onto you. You can hear the like shriek of its claws on metal as it's trying to get purchase on you, but you kind of push it back and get it away from you. And then lastly, this one steps forward, looks to the party and looks to everybody else who's charging up, reaches down and grabs the back of the shirt of what you can see is an unconscious human that is lying on the ground and starts to slide their body away.
No.
As it starts to leave. Twid, you're up.
Excuse you, sir. You are not excused from the table. Come back here.
And Twid, I need you to make the same Constitution saving throw.
Do I have to? Every roll tonight has been awful.
Roll better.
I believe in you.
18.
With an 18, you shake off the same scent that's been hitting everybody else, and you manage to resist the rotting presence of the creature.
It's because I told you to roll better. Also, point out, can Stelcerid smell?
Yeah, Stelcerid have a full range of normal senses.
Neat.
Fair question, but yeah, Stelcerid can smell, taste, hear, the whole 9 yards.
Of course they can smell Twid every single day.
But
So now we learn that Twid is also part barbarian and just raging at them. No. Twid is gonna move down next to Valen, and I guess Wawa's coming with them? Because Wawa's
Yeah, so Wawa would come with you.
Okay, I'm gonna just put Wawa like right here. And Twid is going to pop open a new doll, or pop out a new doll. It's like one of those little like stacking dolls.
Like little Russian nesting dolls, right?
Yeah, like a Russian nesting doll. But it's got a lot of sort of the like skin tone and color of an Ashbourne, right? Yeah, Ashbourne. So like sort of grayish skin with like little like lava, almost like fire lava lines moving through it. And Twid is going to open it and say, Twid voice. Ophelia, tell him what you think. And is going to cast Dissonant Whispers on the goat person.
What does the goat person need to do with that?
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save, and what kind of effect is it? Sorry, it's the first
I believe
one.
it's just psychic damage.
Psychic damage, and then it must if it fails, it must immediately use its reaction to move as far away as possible from the originator.
Due to a fear effect, or does it say frightened as part of the condition, or just has to move away?
You whisper a discordant melody that only one creature of choice within your range can hear, racking it with terrible pain. It must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage. It must immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far away its speed allows from you.
Okay.
It doesn't
that's fine.
It doesn't say feared. But if it's
Yeah. That is super helpful. So it gets a 9.
Okay, it needed a 13. So I'm going to roll 3d6, and it has to move as far away as it can from Twid.
Which is good because it's in melee with 3 of us.
13 psychic damage.
13 psychic damage. Okay. It does not have anything to protect it from that. So it takes. You hear the pops open Ophelia, and this. For a second, the entire party sort of stops. Like, wait, is there more to this? And then this wobbling gray energy sort of floats up out of Ophelia, and you can almost hear as it like zips past you and hits the Bulazao. All of you can almost hear for a second who are close by Thorn and Calvin a little like soft whispering as it flies past you, hits the creature, and you see it sort of tilt its head to one side and give a little shake in its ear, flicks like they do when they're trying to like flick a fly off, and then its eyes fill with this like distrust as it snaps. It starts to look every which way and then charges away from you. That will provoke attacks of opportunity from Thorn and Calvin. 10 does miss, yes.
18.
Oh, I'm sorry. And does Pork Roll get to use reactions?
He already used his reaction to give the Goatman disadvantage.
There you go. And you said 18?
Yep.
18 hits. So if you want to roll your
I'm
damage
gonna
for me.
burn my last smite.
All right. Burn your smite.
I roll real good. Do you need the radiant separate?
No, you can give it to me all together. I assume you're rolling the extra dice for it being a fiend, yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just wanted to be sure. Don't want to rob you of any of your damage.
29.
29?
I rolled 2
Not
HP
bad at
stuff.
all.
Oh, that's very nice. Go Thorn.
It's looking pretty hurt. As it goes to turn to run away, your sword slashes down, and you release that same spark of divine energy that you've been using before. Smite is a free action, correct? Not a bonus or anything?
Yes, it is an other.
It is another. Okay. Wanted to be sure. I'll say you can use it on your reaction then.
Yeah,
as
it
you do,
says I get to do it when I hit.
The energy sprays out in that same cold blue, and you can see that as it does, a number of the flies floating around it freeze in midair and just start to fall down onto the cobblestones at your feet. And as it runs away, you can see that there's that hiss of like quickly melting ice as like the mist of the ice starts to burn off of its body as it's trying to run away from you. And now it is the Dretch's turn. So there's one that's below you that's going to move up a little bit, and it's going to try to take a bite out of your friend Carlisle. Will hit. Deal some damage. You see it slam its mouth down on Carlisle's arm and sort of pull him down. As it does, its claw comes slashing up towards his face and just cuts this furrow of claws across his face. You can see that Carlisle's still standing but looks a little bloodied, as like his arm and his face are both dripping with they're damaged and dripping with blood.
Not
And
Carlisle.
the other one's going to take a couple of attacks at Thorn. So first we're going to get bite. Actually, this one, looking a little nervous, is going to release a poisonous cloud.
Ew.
You know,
I told you they're nasty.
Nasty. Nasty boys. Don't mean a thing.
and I'm going to just draw that out real quick with my excellent drawing skills. As a thick green cloud of that is not where I wanted that to go. green cloud of smoke pours out of its body and obscures everything within it as like a fog cloud.
Did you draw it?
It just drew it. It should now appear.
I mean, I can't see it, but that also, like, what color is it?
It's very pale pink.
Yeah, I can't see it. I trust that it's there.
It is there.
But yeah,
I'll pick a different color next time.
Yeah. We're good. I'll figure it out.
All right. So you are in the heart of it. Let me change it real quick. I'll change it to a different color.
I mean, if it's easier, you can just
There you
leave
go.
it. Okay, I can see that one.
As the cloud just sprays out of its body, it almost seems like it sweats it out of its pores before it disappears.
Ew.
So the fetid cloud is a disgusting green gas that spreads around corners. It lightly obscures the area, so basically anything within it has what's considered to be like partial cover, not full cover. And I'm going to need anybody who starts their turn in it to make a DC or make a Constitution saving throw for me. So no one currently is affected, but will be in the near future. And I'm going to say the next is Carlisle. And Carlisle is going to sort of sees the cloud start to spread and sees Twid like lose it and cast that dissonant whispers and like gives you a quick wink over his shoulder towards you. And you can see that he's still clutching the cigar in his mouth. He spits it loose, and as it's flying through the air, he just bam, 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 swings out 3 times quickly with his fists at the dretch closest to him. I'm gonna roll for those attacks. Connect, and connects.
Go, Carlisle, go!
Okay. Yeah. So you see his hands, rapid fire, just slam, 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 and you can hear the meaty thwack of each fist as it slams into the creature, and you can see it sort of staggers backwards from the force of the blows. And Carlisle is going to use one of his abilities and make a dexterity saving throw, which it fails, and it is knocked prone as the force of the blows basically overbalance it, and it falls to the ground. Just as a reminder for everybody, prone means that it has disadvantage to any melee attacks made next to it, but advantage against any ranged attacks made towards it. And it has to use half of its movement to stand up on its next turn. And then let's say it's Valen's turn. What would Valen like to do?
Question. Can I see, like, over near where the goat man is, or would the cloud of fog be, like, obscuring me?
It'd be obscuring you right now.
If I moved up to, like, here, could I see?
You can see it. Yeah, you can see him just fine.
I'm going to bonus action cast my spiritual weapon, like right in this square next to the dretch.
Okay.
And take a swing at the goat man.
I need to plan ahead for spiritual weapons and stuff. If you want to just draw and drop like a circle there or something, just to remind us.
I can do that.
Yeah. I don't need a list of all the things you plan to summon. This is going to keep up.
I think we can manage that. I can summon
double-check my
elementals and
spell
also
list.
celestials.
Oh, yeah. I can summon an
And then I assume you would like to attack with your spiritual weapon?
Yes, I would like to
Perfect.
swing at the goat man.
At the Bulazao?
Yes. But
Roll to hit.
I don't think I'm going to hit. Hold on. I have to check. I don't think I hit. No, because I got a 12.
12 total?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, unfortunately the weapon slices out at it and the creature just manages to duck under the attack.
All right. I'm going to use my action then to cast Toll the Dead on him.
All right. So that is a wisdom save on his part.
Yes, wisdom save of 13.
Nat 1, so he fails.
Even better, and he took damage. Of course, I rolled a 2, so he'll take 2 necrotic damage.
He takes 2 necrotic. Every little bit counts. Teamwork makes the dream work.
He is not getting
We're gonna
away.
move. And that's everything you want to do? That was your move, your bonus, and your standard, correct?
Yes.
All right. So it's going to move us to your other ally, Ruby's turn. She's going to use her abilities for... you know what? Yeah. So you actually see for the first time, some of you, Ruby step forward. She raises one hand, and as she does, she sort of clutches what had previously been ignored, like small medallion that hangs around her neck. She clutches the medallion around her neck, closes her eyes for a second. You can see her kind of whispering. When she opens her eyes, this dull yellow glow comes from within her eyes, and you can see it sort of spiders across the front of her face. And as you're watching, her face sort of elongates in this way that seems unnatural. It's very uncanny valley. Like, it's just no longer normal human proportions. You can see her hands and knuckles basically her hand gains another set of knuckles where she's clutching the amulet. And her whole body seems to and her hair becomes like this neon yellow where it was before. It was like this very soft, beautiful yellow. And as she raises her hand, a blast of wind comes flying down and actually dissipates the cloud.
Okay.
As she finishes a deep arcane intonation. As the spell finishes and she lets go of the amulet, her face settles and returns back to normal, and that strange flicker of the other appearance disappears.
Well, that's interesting.
That's suspicious.
Girls gotta have a few surprises.
Couldn't agree more.
Let's see. And you can see that as it's pushing the fog away from you, the dretches seem to be trying to gain some footing against it, but they do seem to be leaning against the wind as though it is pushing against them. And Calvin, you're up. All right, so roll to hit. 23 hits. 10 damage? Okay. And you're hitting the top one, right? That one that's across from Pork Roll? All right. 10. That one goes down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to move Pork Roll up there. I will say if Pork Roll's going to rush through... okay, that's fine. I was going to say if Pork Roll's going to rush through where the red carpet was, that's full of, essentially it looks as though someone has set up a display of, fine art that they're trying to sell on, little pedestals. You are going to have to make an acrobatics check not to just smash your way through the whole thing and trip. 13 on the Dretch or on the Bolazao? The minion, yeah, the minion. Yeah, little like pig monkey thing. Yeah. That'll hit. 13 will hit if you want to roll damage. And this is force, correct? 4 damage? Okay. Porkroll's sword slashes down and catches it on its back, and you see the creature sort of reel back from it and let drop the body that it was carrying, and gives out a little like squeal, essentially.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm at 17 out of 25, so like I'm doing all right. I've taken some hits, but I'm fine.
All right, so Wawa's going to take the dodge action, which is going to bring us back around to the Bulazao initiative. The Bulazao, no longer compelled by the dissonant whispers to run away, is going to whip its head back around at Calvin, and it looks over your shoulder to where Twid is, and Twid, you can hear the little sound of its voice in the back of your mind. That wasn't a very nice trick. I don't appreciate people messing with my mind. And it lashes out with its tail at Calvin. And you hear the little like snap of almost like a whip crack as it sharks down at Calvin. Ooh, disadvantage. Disadvantage, it's only going to be a 13. All right, so luckily with Porkroll interfering, you just managed to knock its tail wide, and you see the creature goes this frustrated like as it's once more denied its enjoyment.
This is why
And
Porkroll is
it is.
MVP.
I mean, Porkroll is MVP. It saves you from a lot of real bad hits. And that's going to bring us to the Dretch's turn. One of the Dretch's turns. That one that's next to Carlisle. Oh, roll the d4 of damage for me again. That's enough to take it down. So that one, from its previous injuries from Carlisle and the 2 tactical rounds of acid it's taken, you can see it sort of clawing at its own face, trying to get the acid off now, but too late. And with its little sigh, it falls to the ground and the same thing just disappears into this, basically almost looks like burnt out cinders that are starting to lose their luster. Thorn, you're up. So that's relevant because you ate up its turn.
I'm going to stab the one directly in front of me.
All right, roll to hit.
22.
22, that does hit.
For 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage, all right.
Still up.
Yes.
I'm gonna stab it again.
Wait, is this the one you... This is not the one you attacked previously, correct?
I attacked the Bulazao previously, so unless someone has hit this
I just wanted to make
else.
sure that your last damage. Nope. So, okay. Next attack.
Does a 14 hit?
14 hits.
Oh, sorry, I lied. It's a 16, but either or. For 5.
Both hit. For 5? Okay. It's looking a little rough, but it's still up. As you slash out at it, and the creature sort of reels backwards, and you can see that all of them now, all of the Dretch who had been kind of in front of you, around you, seem super nervous, and they're starting to like, gaze around as though they're looking for a means of escape. Flip, you're up.
Okay, Flip is gonna pull out another Troika card, and this time cast his version of Fairy Fire down here.
And those are dex saves,
right
correct?
Correct. So
Alright.
as these weird ghostly spectral arms reach out for the remaining 3 Dretches.
The spectral arms do hit 2 of the Dretches, but ironically enough, not the 3rd.
So anyone who can see them has advantage now.
Yeah, so those two dretches that are outlined with light have disadvantage, or you have advantage on them, I should say.
Excellent. And
anything else you'd
gonna
like to
try
do?
to move up over here onto the red carpet.
Excellent.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to
Yeah, so
remap
turning
my
around the
Twitch to
corner.
talk.
No worries. So you're turning around that corner, you do as you do catch a scene that you hadn't really previously seen before. You see that the Bulazao that was dragging that man away has dropped him and is sort of leaning away from Porkroll, the Dretch, and the Bulazao it looks very injured, and it's sort of like leaning against one of its legs. It's looking up at Calvin, and you can see that in its eyes it has this panic expression that you definitely did not notice before. There's still one leg of a doll, like hanging out of its mouth, obviously stuck in its teeth.
Pack him up, Porkroll!
And that is going to move us to 2 of the Dretch's turns. So first off is the one next to Thorn that is very fired, but that does not prevent it from attacking Thorn with a bite. That is not good. I'm going to stop using this dice because it is not giving you what I want.
No, keep
And
using
a
that
claw,
dice.
which is a 15.
15 is my AC.
So 15 hits. Yeah, and I'm going back to the digital roller. You take 4 points of slashing damage as the bite slides off of your armor, but the claw finds purchase and sort of gets into the chainmail itself, chain shirt, and you can feel the claws dig through the chain shirt into your shoulder.
Thorn's starting to look a little bloody.
All right, and then it's going to move over to the next stretch, who is going to do the same thing to Porkroll. So we're going to get a bite and a claw. The claw is a 15. The bite is not worth mentioning. 15 does hit? All right. So that's 8 points of slashing damage. Something had to have stuck. And now it's Twiddle Mop's turn.
Okay. Twid is going to, like, boom, 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 forward. Look that goat dead in the eye. Hold up Lucretia. And just fire off an Eldritch Blast.
All right, roll the hit with your Eldritch Blast.
14.
14 hits. Roll your damage.
Kill him.
Uh, 9 force damage.
So Twid, fired up as the creature has damaged your cart, eaten or destroyed several of your dolls, and made a mockery of your workspace. You rush forward, holding Lucretia up. As you do, you see this nimbus of energy sort of spiral along her body, and in the back of your mind, you hear a voice that you've heard before. That's right, my boy. Do it. Do it. And you feel this energy come coursing through you. As you do, the Eldritch Blast fires out from you and slams into the Bulazao. For a second, seeming like nothing happened, as the energy fades away, you see that there is essentially a hole right where the Bulazao's eye was. And you can see straight through it to the street behind it. The goat creature sort of stumbles for a second and its mouth starts to move a little bit. And as it's starting to fall, it makes direct eye contact with you, and you hear another voice join the one in your mind. And it just says, "Our fun is ruined this time, but I'll remember you." And as it screams forward, it hits the ground and whoosh, it shatters into a spray of ash. And then, but you do see what clunks to the ground is a small marble idol that hits the ground and clunk, 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 rolls across the ground, sort of coming to fall kind of between Calvin and Flip. And as that happens, the Dretch that were around, they all disappear in that same burst of embers, leaving behind the sound of like still combat and some fire and the crackle of fire in the background, but your immediate vicinity is silent.
Are we in combat still?
Nope, we're out of combat.
Heavy breathing, looking around.
Thorn is going to look at Carlisle and Ruby and say, were either of you hit by the goat one?
No, the goat one didn't hit us. The goat one was a little too busy trashing up the cart. Ruby's like, no, I was far enough away. We were distracted by helping some other people escape, and then when we turned back, the creature was climbing up the side of Twin's cart. And Carlisle looks at Twin and goes, "The fuck am I doing protecting your cart? You seem perfectly fine doing it on your own."
Twin is just dashing to the cart and like is diving in and looking at everything.
So give me a quick investigation check with advantage because this is your own cart, so you like know the stock like the back of your hand.
While that's happening, Thorn is going to go to the unconscious person and lay on hands 1 hit point. The next one hit point. Give Carlisle like 5.
You do see some color revives from their face, and as you touch Carlisle, you see the scrapes on his face disappear. The ones on his the bite mark on his arm remains, but he kind of like shakes it loose, and he's like, "Thanks, I appreciate it."
And then I'm going to burn the rest on myself.
I was
going to save a couple.
Twid got a 21 for investigation of their cart.
So you take a moment to look, and you realize that thankfully, most of what you see, like what's happened in the cart is it looks like a number of dolls had fallen to the ground. Like several dolls had been discarded. A couple of the puppets that you made had fallen along the ground around you. Most of the dolls are still there. You realize though that 3 of them are gone. You know that another Stalsered doll that you had made has been destroyed. A Valanin stuffed animal that you have is missing, and another human that you had made is also gone. And in particular, you're thinking about the creature you saw, what you saw eat. You think it probably ate the Stalsered, and it probably had smashed the Valanin, or like torn the Valanin.
We're gonna bend down, pick up the pieces, then we're getting the things, and then take
And it is indeed just one leg and an arm of what was once one of your human dolls.
Thank you, poor girl. I might be able to fix this, maybe, at some point. Can people help me pick up the dolls?
Twid, I do believe we have bigger concerns. Have the 2 of you seen any other creatures?
You're right. Mildew, mold, all the dolls on the ground.
Twiddlemop, there is a demonic invasion.
Ruby steps forward and she goes, "No, I haven't seen any other creatures. The creature here showed up, and shortly after, it seemed like he summoned the other one. They all appeared when it gave like a command or something. It seemed to be enjoying itself, messing up the cart. I was a little surprised because it let a lot of the civilians go, except for the 2 that got caught by the Dretches. Carlisle killed a couple of them before you showed up, but there was just too many."
So you're saying this was a targeted attack? It seems.
I find it hard to believe that a demonic entity would have chosen Twid's cart as its primary target while there was a bunch of helpless humans running around on its own.
Right?
It knew that.
And it wasn't. It did say that like it was working for Marge's enemies, so we do know that.
Wait, you heard it talk?
Yeah, you didn't. It was talking in our heads, at least.
It didn't bother talking to me. And she looks at Carlisle, and Carlisle is like, don't what the fuck with me. I don't have any strange goat creatures talking in my head. It is a religion or a history check.
I got a 20 religion.
20.
With those, you would know, again, just like Pitch, or just like, wow, Pitch again. Just like Flip had figured out earlier, the creature is a Bulazao. They are essentially, they're lower level demons, or the kinds of thing that, like, they're basically diseased. There's a diseased manifestation of animalistic rage. They embody the violence of nature. Across the abyss, they lurk in deep canyons and dark crags, and many find a place serving in the ranks of demonic lords' armies. They serve as foot soldiers in the endless war in the abyss. In particular, they're known to be filled with bloodlust, repulsive, and riddled with disease. You know that the its tail spike, if it had hit, has the potential to inflict a terrible wasting disease on anyone who takes damage from it. And its very presence is so inimical to life that it will constantly deal necrotic damage in it or around it.
Luckily, it didn't hit any of us.
Unluckily, I rolled terrible with this dice, which is getting banished.
Calvin thinking about the second that's just gonna turn to Carlisle and Ruby and be like, super worth it.
And Ruby's like, I suppose that's possible. I mean, who knows what's important to a goat demon?
My dolls!
Apparently. If you
I
two
can
could
imagine they have a lot of dietary benefit to a demon. Other than, I guess, if it likes it enjoys destroying things that people love. That's demonic, right? And Carlisle's like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it could have found something more delicious than their dolls.
Twid is currently, like, trying to reorganize the cart while Twid's mage hand is picking up dolls that fell to the ground and putting them back on the cart.
And then you hear again, there's a presence that you're very familiar with in the back of your mind. And you feel from the satchel next to you where you keep all of your dolls, you feel the strange sensation of something shadowy and slightly cold wrapping around your arm to gain your attention. And you hear that voice you've heard many times before. Twid, you should do something about this. It is unwise for someone to cause you so much trouble. You should make somebody pay. I know how much you love your dolls, and look, destroyed, thrown on the ground. Terrible, terrible. You should see something. You should see your way towards getting them back. Each doll is precious. So precious.
Twid is just gonna start muttering out loud again. I did make him pay. I blew a big hole in him.
Just a messenger, Twid. Just a puppet. You do not hurt the puppets. You hurt the puppet master. Or maybe figure out how they did it, and then maybe you could have demon friends. Think of all the fun you could have with your very own demon.
Twid is going to let out a little bit of that like laughter that everyone heard the other day in the alchemist shop again.
So the super
No
creepy
one
laugh.
would bother your cart ever again if you had your own enforcers. Think on it. And with that, we ran a little over, so I'm going to say that's the end of the night. Curtain shall close on Twid and his odd internal conversation. We'll pick back up next time to see what comes next for the survivors of the incursion on March's party. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. If you don't already follow us, it'd be great if you could give us a follow. It'll let you know if we have any future, when we have our next future scheduled sessions. In particular, we're thinking about doing a couple of special things, so it'll help keep you up to date. You can also find out more about the world of Obra on our linked Twitter. We love feedback, so anytime that you want to let us know a little bit about the world, a little about the game that we're having, it's great to reach out and hear from you. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Night.